And so on one hand, I felt getting into your deepest fear of a loved one not coming back or whatever it is. I felt that and I experienced that. And then it connected to my brother and the loss I felt and the pain. And that is what all came out. And then my eyes caught one of the photos of us looking at each other from when we first started dating. And I was like, we still have that. And on this other hand, I had this like deep feeling of gratitude and love. And I connected that was like, oh, this is what people talk about with faith. Yeah, it's interesting, the shift of the wording. The shift in wording, what I'm speaking of, is where I went from like this sense of like this peace, like moment of peace, this feeling of peace. I love how you changed the word from peace to freedom. I think what I was feeling and the word I was using was like this like feeling of like true faith. Like we talk about faith. We have faith in the unknown. We have faith in ourselves. Some people have faith in religion, spirituality, universe, source, whatever. In that moment, I actually believe, and I wrote this down, like, oh, this is what it means to have undenying faith in your existence and where you're going. And so it went from like that sense of peace to then like this another level or this another layer. And so I like the word freedom too. I think they're in a sense similar of what I was experiencing. And where I got to at that point was, this was around like 3 hours in, and I was like, oh, I feel like I'm coming out of it. And Jackie went and got some lunch and came back, and when I was gone, I don't think I could have got where I went without, one, psilocybin, and two, being on my own, like being by myself, because that was the very thing I needed to experience with the work I've been doing of teaching myself I'm safe, like literally reconditioning my nervous system to have that sense of faith in my being. And the irony of what I'm talking about with it being on Mother's Day and how you brought up a lot of stuff came up for your mom and your brother, same shit. And I also see a lot of connections with my relationship with Jackie, in more so the sense that what I didn't feel like I get as a child, I get from Jackie in a healthy manner now that I'm aware of it. And that was something I didn't get in other relationships, but I was chasing. And I was like in a lot of toxic relationships for different things. But anyways, coming back to where I came out of this was like this like another layer of insecurities I didn't even know I had that were coming up. And then to share that when Jackie got back, I was like, I hadn't visibly like, or viscerally like had like a sadness relief, like crying like that since the day my brother died. And when she was gone, that's what happened, because I was looking at the wall of photos and I was just like listening. She put on like this this record on a record player. I forget who it was, but just love music, just like old Italian man singing to his partner. And I'm looking at the wall, just chilling with our dog, and I'm like looking at our photos. And the idea came in of like, what if she doesn't come back? And then being in that space of the psychedelic molecules, I was like, is she actually gonna come back? Am I just in a delusional state now where she's never coming back, but I'm thinking like, what if she doesn't come back? And so on one hand, I felt what Kerwin always talked about, like getting into your deepest fear of a loved one not coming back or whatever it is. I felt that and I experienced that, and then it connected to my brother and the loss I felt and the pain, and that is what all came out. And then my eyes caught one of the photos of us looking at each other. It was like from when we first started dating. It was on a mountain, a hike we went and did, and I was like, we still have that. And I got back sort of into reality, and I was like, no, she's coming back, she's going to get lunch. So on two hands, I had like my deepest fear, which unpacked a whole bunch of shit I'll have to share another time. And on this other hand, I had this like deep feeling of gratitude and love. And I connected that was like, oh, what I'm experiencing right now, it literally felt like what everyone talks about with psychedelics, like your heart opens up. I was like, I felt that. I was like, oh, this is what people talk about with faith. And it was just all about knowing I'm safe either way. I don't need, but I love, whether it be friends, family, my wife, my parents. And so anyways, that was my experience on Sunday. So we were on a similar trajectory there this weekend, Josh. Yeah, I mean, you said it proud of all of us, and it's also what I love and appreciate about all three of us is we're willing to seek out the discomfort because we know the liberation, what that feels like on the other side. And with that weight being lifted, we can reconnect with the deepest parts of ourselves that we've been trying to hide, whether consciously, mostly unconsciously. And that allows us to connect more with other people because we're more connected to ourselves. And that's the very thing that I experienced this past weekend. It sounds like we're all experiencing different versions of that and how we go about that. But in the micro, but in the macro, it's the same thing. When you feel lighter, you can connect with yourself because you feel safer, because you're not hanging on to other people's shit.